GPS tracking installers, what's up? Thomas Keenan here, coming at you today, Saturday. Gonna record a podcast in here live, and it's gonna be me solo. I'm not gonna have any guests with me today. I've got something I want to talk about. That's real important to me. We'll dive into that in a minute. But my schedule's been crazy, so I normally would schedule this out and let the whole crew here know, but just been nuts. So I figured I had a few free minutes. Let me just pop in here and get moving. Let's just make sure that we're live here on Facebook, and we'll see what the deal is. It looks like it. It's real important. All right, cool. All right, so get started here. How about that? Simple as that. Welcome to the GPS Tracking Installers podcast, where we teach you what's needed to get started and how to successfully run a mobile GPS installation business. This is the only podcast out there specifically for the GPS tracking and dash camera installation industry. I'm your host, Thomas Keenan, and I'm glad that you're here. Before we get started, please be sure to head over to thomaskeenan.com and grab a copy of my #1 best-selling book, Unfuck Your Business. This will give you the foundation needed to grow and scale your installation business from 6 to 7 figures per year. All right, now that we got the formalities out of the way, today's podcast is going to be about employer and vendor payroll responsibilities. It's something that I believe is the ultimate responsibility once you become an employer who hires someone. And it's all right, let me shut that off. It's one that I refuse to take lightly. It's something that is, near and dear to my heart. And it really just pisses me off and burns my ass when I see other people not paying people on time for work that they've completed, whether you are a subcontractor, whether you're an employee, whatever. So with that being said, let's talk about it a little bit. When you become an employer and you hire that first employee, you immediately become responsible, not just for yourself and your family and your home and your dog, or, a family member who may live with you, but you also take on the responsibility of that employee. So, okay. You're like, all right, Tom, cool. We get that. You're responsible for the well-being pretty much, or the financial payment to this employee. Great. One thing that I think a lot of people don't account for is, and this is the way that I view it, and I might be a little weird here, but whatever. I view it as I now take on the responsibility of what my employee is responsible for. So if you're married, you own a home, and you have 2 cars, 2 kids, a wife, 2 car payments, well, that's my responsibility. And me as an employer, if I can't uphold my end of the deal to you, then it's just no good. It's something that I refuse to do. So if I tell you that this is the deal we have, this is what you're going to get paid, this is the business deal that we put together, and regardless of my financial situation, I'm going to make sure that you have money in your bank account every payday. Simple as that. So it really bugs me when I see people out there who don't take this as seriously as I do, and as the culture over here at Top Class Installations does. Don't get me wrong, we're not perfect here. We've had our bumps in the road. We've had payrolls that have gotten fucked up and delayed because of unforeseen circumstances. Matter of fact, the force of average came at us about a week ago, and there was an issue with banks and ACH payments through our payroll provider. We use Gusto, and they couldn't get our payment out on time. Normally, we submit payroll on Wednesday, and by Friday morning, it's in my employees' bank accounts via ACH direct deposit. And for some reason, my employees started messaging me and other people on my team and saying, "Hey, I didn't get paid today. What's going on?" And I knew that there had to be an issue because the payroll money that we had to pay out already had left my business bank account. So I was like, all right, well, let's see what's going on. So we dug in, we contacted the payroll provider, and we couldn't get through. So we knew there was a problem, and they were probably working on it. Long story short, they get back to us a few hours later and say, "Hey, look, listen, we're sorry. We hit some snags in a road, and everyone on your team will be paid by the latest of 6 p.m. Eastern." And that's exactly what happened. Prior to 6 p.m. Eastern, everyone was paid, including myself. Yes, I do get paid for my business. And if you own a business, you should as well. But that could be a different podcast. I'm not going to dive into that topic today. So getting back to the responsibilities here. So now, let's say your team expands, and instead of you having, yourself and a helper, you now have 10 employees, 20 employees. And some of you who are watching this, you have even more than that. Now, think of the massive impact you have on people's lives, on a community, on your group, on your family, because I believe my team of Top Class is my family, first off. So if I can't provide payroll on time to, let's call him Joe Dick employee, right? Now he can't go home and pay his car. He can't put food on the table for his family. He can't get the medicine needed for his sick infant, and this just gets multiplied out deeper and deeper and deeper. And there's multiple layers of this because, again, it's not just you. It's not just the employee. It's everyone who is underneath the responsibility of that employee. I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but again, it's the employee. It's the employee's significant other, if they have one. It's the employee's sick mom or disabled brother or sister who they're taking care of. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors in these people's houses. And if you tell them that you're going to do something, you better fucking do it. I'm tired of hearing, bad stories of people who were employing people and not paying them what they're rightfully owed, especially for the work they complete. Now, let's reverse the role and expand on this further. Okay. We see this on the flip side as well. And this is what really burns my ass real bad. I'm not getting in here. We're not naming names. And I've had several people within this network reach out to me over the past couple of weeks, and everyone's got the same problem. And it's not all the same company. I'm just throwing that out there right now. It's multiple companies that do this. I've experienced it firsthand myself more times than I wish I could even. It just sucks. So let me just dive in here. We go out and we're a third-party installation provider, as I'm sure just about everybody here listening to this podcast is. And we provide a service for XYZ company. And we have a contract with XYZ company, or you should at least, in my opinion, that says I'm going to get paid for the work performed within 30 days, 45 days, whatever the terms are. That's between you and them. If everything is done within a certain standard and everything is documented properly, all of my billing is in properly, I'm going to get paid what I'm owed. And we're just seeing it over and over and over and over again where these companies are not paying. And I really believe that it's a disconnect. First off, it's disrespectful. It's a disconnect in culture from small business to the corporate world, because these corporate people, they get paid on Friday or Monday, whatever day they get paid on, no matter what. And, it's like the weekend comes and, Joe Dickhead from accounts payable decides he wants to start his happy hour a little bit early. So, fuck it. I'm getting out of the office now. And we'll worry about paying those guys later. I'll push it back 1 week. Well, yeah. Okay. Thanks, asshole. You pushed it back 1 week. And you put me, okay, and I'm not just saying me, but I'm just saying the business owners who provide these services, you put us in a bind. So now cash flow is a problem. I don't care what size your company is, cash flow is a problem, right? It's always one of those things where, like, shit, do I have enough money to cover this? Or do I have to pull it from a reserve? So what happens is, this guy doesn't process your payment, write your check, mail it, ACH payment, whatever they're using, and you don't get your money in time. And it puts us, the business owners, in a major bind, especially when we uphold our word and we tell our employees that they're going to get paid on time regardless. So now, let's say cash flow is an issue. You got a $20,000 a week payroll, and you didn't get that additional $7,000, $8,000, or $10,000 check-in from XYZ company that you were supposed to, which would have covered your payroll for the week, no problem. And now what do? What bind does that put you in as the business owner? And I'm just telling you from real world experience, this is stuff that's happened to us over here at Top Class. It's definitely learning experiences. It's humbling. But on occasion, my partner and I sit back and say, all right, well, here's the problem. All right. And what do we do as business owners? We're problem solvers. So, okay, I told my employees they're getting paid on this date, this amount. This is how much money we have in the bank to cover for them. We got to make up the rest somehow magically within the next 24 to 48 hours. What do? Either draw from a line of credit, okay, and you're going to wind up paying more money on that money, which cuts into your profit from the work you did. So why bother even going to do the work at that point? Or hopefully you've got some personal savings and you can loan yourself some money for a couple of days to cover the nut. Either way sucks. But as a business owner, it's your responsibility to make sure your team is taken care of. Without your team, you're nothing. All right. This is something that I just keep seeing over and over again. And I know it's not just in the GPS tracking industry. Okay. I know it's in business overall. And I just have a real big problem with it. I understand that cash flow is an issue, no matter the size of your company. But if you tell somebody you're going to pay them on time, like fucking pay them. Like seriously, just pay them. I think that this is going to resonate with a lot of people here. I think that this is something that a lot of you have struggled with. And I hope that this, just throws it out there and says, hey, you're not the only one going through this bullshit. And there are options. I mean, we've got a couple of people in the group here that I've done podcasts with that, you may be able to reach out to get yourself some help here. Reach out to maybe Jonathan Federa, and set up a line of credit for your business. Reach out to your bank and see if they got some loans or rates that you can do. I mean, there's ways to kind of put buffers in place so that if and when, I shouldn't say if, because when the financial problem happens, because it's going to happen in business. I don't care how long you've been doing things. Financial struggles will happen in your business. You've got to be prepared. And if you decide to go open that line of credit when you need it, that's when they're going to deny you. So if you are in good standings now, if you've got some money coming in, then go accept every credit card offer they put in the mail to you. Bulk up those credit cards. Open up the lines of credit. Doesn't mean you have to use them. Be a responsible adult. I'll tell you one of the hacks that I do all the time. Speaking of credit cards, I mean, I get offers constantly, right? I don't use them all, but if there happen to be a bad day, look at this. I got more credit cards than I know what to do with. All right. And they don't have any money on them. There's zero balances. They're all 0% APR. So this is another tool you can use here if you get yourself into a pinch, whether it's, you owe taxes, you owe your employees money. There's ways around things. So you gotta think about it. You gotta be smart about it. But don't wait till the last minute to figure out how you're going to solve these problems. Start solving the problems before they happen. And, listen, I mean, going into finances and things to do as a responsible business owner is a whole different podcast, a whole different topic that we can dive into at a later date. But I'm just giving you some tips here, some things that I've learned over the years as being a business owner and struggling at times financially. And, this is one of the things that has helped me right here is, being able to leverage a 0% credit card on occasion to get myself out of a bind. Basically, I have up to 12 months or 18 months to borrow that money at 0%. And I can either use it to invest in my business when an opportunity arises, or if I need to pay something off, if God forbid something happens and we damage a vehicle, sometimes it's a lot easier to pay out of pocket to fix the vehicle than to go through the whole bullshit of experience of insurance, right? And if you tell me you've never damaged a vehicle, you're lying to me, because I've been in this business too long. Okay, I've been hands-on in this business for over 20 years, and I've done my fair share of damage to vehicles. Okay, so don't tell me you're perfect. I mean, yes, some guys are better than others, but at the end of the day, you're bound to eventually fuck something up. Quick story. We send a guy on site actually a crew of guys on site to repair some existing GPS installs. And my guys going on to this job site. It's a tow truck company. They have a 3-wire GPS installed in a international, and it looked like a mechanic did the install. And they wanted us to check it out and maybe do an overhaul or repair on it. So my guy gets there. The wires are running through the firewall, power ground ignition running through the firewall. This is an international. Anyone who's in the industry knows that the international is probably the world's easiest truck to do. You're going to grab your wires on the passenger side of the fuse box. They're usually pigtailed. I mean, couldn't be any easier. They run these wires out through the firewall, and they remove a fuse box under the hood and tie into some wires there. This truck had some electrical issues, and a mechanic had been in there repairing this stuff. There was a bunch of cut leads. The fuse box wasn't mounted under the hood. And my guy went over there to disconnect these wires properly and put everything back to factory. He lifts up this unmounted fuse box, and the vehicle never starts again. We looked at the vehicle for a couple of hours trying to figure out what was what and couldn't figure it out. So now, since my guy went there to go do the right thing, we've got to go and get a mechanic involved to fix this issue, and we're going to wind up paying money out of pocket for it. So it happens to us. I don't care what level of the business you're in, you're going to have to deal with some bullshit like that. So look, listen, this is a short podcast today. We're coming in right around 15 minutes or so. And I think this is a very important one. I want to make sure that you guys out there understand that you have the ultimate responsibility as a business owner to make sure that your employees are paid. And that's it. So we are recording this right now, just after Christmas. And I want to make sure that we say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and Happy Holidays to everybody. And let's make 2020 the best year yet. Have a great day. Thanks.